Tuesday, which means it's time for my top 10 most anticipated and noteworthy comics for November 22nd, 2023. I'm Mike Spiderslayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. Hopefully this list does help you make decisions on what comic books to buy, because you know what? It's never too early to start that pull list for next week. So before we dive into it, guys, I just got to give a quick shout out to Whatnot. Whatnot is a free app, which I have a link in the description box below. When you sign up through my link and you make that first purchase, you will get a $15 credit. So whether you're a collector of comics or slabs or video games or whatever the case may be, once you make that purchase, hey, you can save 15 bucks and win, you know, like I said, slabs like this one that I just got in the mail. So some people say that I am just an ambassador and I don't believe in it. No, I use Whatnot quite a bit. So just use it responsibly, okay? All right, so let's go ahead into the book that's on the hot seat for the week. And that one goes to Carnage issue 1. So we have a new issue 1 when it comes to Carnage books. We've seen a lot of them as of late. This one is a 36-page comic. It's $6, so I'm just going to emphasize that price to you. I'm really going to shout out these prices because I know this does mean a difference, you know, on what you pick up or not pick up these days, you know, since they raised the price on every single comic. So if you don't buy a comic, you know, that's you're saving $6. But anyway, when it comes to Carnage here, it looks like the symbiote is actually going to reunite with Cletus Cassidy once again, and it's going to set up the next major Venom story. Whatever that is in the near future, I'm not sure, but hey, it's going to lead to that. So it looks like maybe we'll get Eddie versus Carnage again. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so the book that's on the rise, we have Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong. This is issue 2, longest name in history. Honestly, I really liked the first issue here. I thought it was brilliantly done, where we had Godzilla enter Metropolis for the first time, but it wasn't just, hey, Superman, go beat up Godzilla. There was actually a lead up until why, like, Godzilla makes his way to Metropolis, and it all had to do with the Legion of Doom, Toyman, and just seeing all these different cast of characters just brought you back to a simpler time when you used to watch like the Justice Friends and all that stuff, and or the Super Friends. I always say that it's the Super Friends, and it was cool to see all those characters and Lex Luthor in charge. So I thought the first issue was really well done, and this one is 40 pages for $5. So it tells you the price here, the value for your money. Last book was $6, 36 pages, and this one is $5, 40 pages. Kicking it off now officially with number 10, we have another new number 1 here, and this is Batman of World issue Offworld. I put Offworld. Batman Offworld issue 1. This is written by Jason Aaron, so he's going to be writing a Batman story here. This is his first one. I think the artist is Doug Meineke. I don't know if I said his name right, but this is just an alternate universe story with Batman, with stuff that he's never faced before. It's nothing new though in general. You know, we've seen different Earths, different Batmans. So nothing, I would say, spectacular or brilliant, but at least you can have some fun reading stuff that's not in continuity. And we'll get to see how Jason Aaron writes Batman. So this one is 32 pages. And hey, we got a $4 comic book here. Moving on to number 9, we have Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars Battle World issue 1. So the Secret Wars is back, guys, but it's not a new story. It's basically going back to the original Secret Wars this time, and that's where this story actually takes place during the time, of course, with Spider-Man's alien costume. And you know, I don't know really what the story is. It's just saying, oh, going back to the 1984 series when symbiote Spider-Man had his suit, and they're going to deal with a battle that you never saw before. That's basically the description here, but it's very vague on the overall story. If you love old stories or things that you haven't seen before and you love that timeline, right, I would say pick this up. I like kind of these throwback stories that they do from time to time. So we'll see. 36 pages, and this one is $5. Moving on to number 8, we have Uncanny Spider-Man issue 4. This is a fun book. It's just, you got Nightcrawler, who is pretending to be Spider-Man. He can hide his mutant powers, and he's hooking up with Silver Sable, and maybe in this issue now, it looks like he's teaming up with Spider-Man. It's been pretty fun. It has Spider-Man vibes in there because we've gotten to see the Vulture, who is the director, who's reporting to Nimrod, and they're trying to capture all these mutants, and the whole Silver Sable thing is kind of fun too, because she's supposed to locate Nightcrawler, but she's just like, maybe I might want to hook up with you instead, right? And so you get to see that relationship too. So it's been kind of fun, and we got to see some previous X characters go after Nightcrawler as they've been souped up from the Vulture's invention. So it's a good book, man. 28 pages, $4. Coming in at number 7, we have the Invincible Iron Man issue 12. I think this book has been really good as it ties in heavily to the Fall of X stuff. We've gotten to see Tony Stark get married to Emma Frost in this book, and it's just obviously it's a cover-up to get to the end of the whole Fall of X stuff, and the interactions though between the characters are really cool. In the last issue, we've also got to see Iron Man go on this secret mission, go to Krakoa to get this special metal so he can make this new suit, so I guess he can destroy the Sentinels. And there were some emotional moments in that book. I feel like this one is kind of underrated. I really love how this is a book about not like a deconstruction of a character where you thought it was at first, but it's more of just a little bit of a softer side of Tony, and I don't know, man, I've been digging it. 28 pages, $4. I'll take a $4 comic these days anyway. Moving on to number 6, we have Superman issue 8. The Man of Steel versus Chains. So this is already the end of the story arc when it comes to this story. You had Superman facing this guy who was captured from Lex Luthor years ago, or this chain cell, and Superman released him, and then Superman wound up getting captured in his place. But now it looks like Superman's gonna have to like sacrifice his powers? Dude, I don't know, but if he's going to be powerless going forward, that's going to suck. But we have seen that story before, and that was back in the New 52 where Superman only had the power of his cape and he wrapped it around his wrists. Hopefully we don't go that route again. I have my faith in the writing here. It's been really good, and looking forward to it. Legacy numbering 851, 32 pages, $5. Top 5, more DC. We have World's Finest, issue 21, Clash, or Generations. So here we get to see Mark Waid writing a phenomenal book. I've always loved World's Finest. And then in this last issue, we've gotten to see the heroes go back to the Kingdom Come time of Earth, and they came across Boy Thunder for the first time in years because he took off, in his little machine and went to a different Earth, and they were promised that they would find him. Well, they finally found him when he's much older, and Boy Thunder is like, I hate you guys, and I'm gonna shock Superman to death, and you're kind of left with that cliffhanger, right? Really interesting stuff. The other interesting thing is like this Earth that they're at, they don't realize that there's other versions of these superheroes, which I thought was pretty cool also. So I don't know how that's going to continue to take place, but overall the artwork is really well done by Dan Mora. 32 pages, $4. Number 4, we have the Incredible Hulk issue 6. So here we have another new story, and again guys, if you love horror, if you love dark Hulk, like Immortal Hulk, this is very much in that wheelhouse. You get those vibes, and this time around it looks like the Hulk is going to be facing against a zombie Ghost Rider. This is just fun. This is a fun monster book, and along the way there is a story here, and it was presented to Bruce Banner of submitting himself to the king of monsters, right? And he was presented that by, Betty Ross, right? The Harpy Hulk. And now he has to contemplate what he wants to do. But I guess along the way, he's going to come across these monsters. So here you go. Zombie Ghost Rider. That is awesome, dude. 28 pages, $4. Coming in at number 3. Is it still Halloween? Because we still got another dark book here. This is Dracula issue 2, written by James Tynion. A very interesting book. The artwork was from the artist that did Department of Truth. We've gotten to see this this lackey from Dracula telling this story that that Dracula sees through him, and he wants to take over the world and all this stuff, and people don't believe in Dracula and demons, and they threaten to replace this guy's blood, and then all of a sudden he speaks to Dracula, and like Dracula wakes up, and then all of a sudden he's gonna make his appearance, right? We wind up getting to see this female go under Dracula's spell, right? And it was just a very dark and gloomy book, and it's just very, very interesting to see this universal monster. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see where this goes. 32 pages, $5. Moving on to number 2, another really fun book for me. This is Kill Your Darlings, issue 3. So we have a main character by the name of Rose, and her best friend Elliot has escaped the psychiatric ward to go back to this world that Rose has created when she was younger. Now, the reason why she was in this psychiatric ward was because when she was younger, she had some kind of like epileptic shock or a spell, and she was drawing in her imaginary world, and somehow it looks like it bled into the main Earth, right? And her house burnt down, and her mom died, and she had no recollection of what happened, and she keeps telling these stories, so they threw her in that psychiatric ward. So now her imaginary friend wound up rescuing her, which was hilarious, and her best friend sees him too, and he's like, do I see like a pink elephant guy? And she's like, nope, you're right, you see him. And so they escape the psychiatric ward, and it looks like they're going to go back to this kingdom that she had created. So a very interesting story. The character work in this book is awesome. The artwork is gorgeous. I love this one. 32 pages, $4. Guys, so remember, after number 1, we're not done, as we will talk about those noteworthy comic books. So, you can make a mental note of which books you might be interested in here. All right, so my number 1 most anticipated comic, of course, is going to go to Void Rivals. This is issue 6, the end of a story arc, okay? And so what happens is we're going to have Darak, who is the main lead in the Carrick, and Solela, possibly escaping Zertonia, which is the actual planet that there are. But there is a secret that is within the planet's rings, and we're not sure what that secret is. This book has been very unpredictable since the very first issue, where you saw Jetfire make his appearance and he flies away, all the way up into the point now. There are secrets that are surrounding Solila, which seems to be very dark. We don't know that much about Darak, but he seems like a very nice guy. He just has this hand that like talks to him, right? And I love the Transformer cameos. Of course, that's just an added bonus to the comic. But will their appearance in the book, I guess, add to the overall growth of this comic, or do they just make cameos and they're kind of like a little separate story as time goes along? I don't know. We'll see. I don't care. I like it. 32 pages, $4. Noteworthy comics. We're kicking it off as always with Marvel. And do you notice for the first time it's not in the top 10? Yeah. The Amazing Spider-Man issue 38. I don't like rap. And I cannot wait for this story arc to end. I can't believe there's a third part to this story arc. Next, we have Wolverine issue 39. More X-Men stuff. We have Immortal X-Men issue 17. Then we have the Sensational She-Hulk issue 2. Issue 1 was such a disappointment. We have the continuation of Avengers Incorporated. This is issue 3. Next, we have Daredevil Black Armor, issue 1. I have no idea what this Black Armor thing is. If you know, let me know in the comments below. Moving on to DC Comics, we have Nightwing, issue 108. This has fallen way down on my list. Next, we have Titans, issue 5, which I think I'm dropping, but I might read this Beast War thing that's going on. I don't know. Next is Wonder Woman, issue 3. Not on my top of my list, but it's still an interesting read for me. Then we move on to the Justice Society of America. This is issue 7. Then we have a new Catwoman arc. We have Catwoman issue 59. Love the David Yakayama cover. That's nice. Then we move on to Green Lantern War Journal issue 3. Pretty interesting story. It is better than, what I thought it was going to be. Then we move on to Jay Garrick Flash issue 2. A lot of people told me that this one is pretty good. Then if you love the black-white books, we have Harley Quinn Black, White, and Redder. This is issue 5. And then we have the Titans Beast World Evolution issue 1. Don't even know what that is about. And then we move on to those indie comics, guys. We have Jeff Lemire's The Tenement. This is issue 6. We have Conan the Barbarian issue 5, which a lot of people are digging. Love that cover. Then we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 114. We move on to the new number 1. We have The Holy Roller. This is issue 1. I have no idea what that is. We have The Plot Holes. This is issue 4. And then we have Black Hammer, The End, issue 4. Is this like the end of that series? And then we have Hack and Slash, Back to School, issue 2. Interesting issue for issue 1, so I might check out issue 2. And then we have American Psycho, issue 2. So there you guys have it. There are the top 10 most anticipated and noteworthy comics for November 22nd, 2023. I want to know in the comments below what you're most looking forward to this particular comic book week. And of course, guys, if you love my top 10 comic book cover series, it's up. It's time for you to vote and go ahead and click on it. And of course, as always, support the local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but more importantly, guys, always read the comics. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on New Comic Book Day.